Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us into this introduction to Confluence webinar. My name is Tony Hartsfield, and I am a certified Atlassian professional, and I'm a consultant at Valiantys. Valiantys is a platinum solutions partner with Atlassian. Um, in this webinar hour, we're going to be taking a dive into the features of Confluence. We'll start with just some of the basics, get you introduced to it, and then um, we'll discuss how the tool can be leveraged within your organization and your teams for several different purposes. Um, and in fact, we'll talk about that. Our agenda then today is what is Confluence itself? What are its editing capabilities? And then how can that be used for customized reporting within your organization, whether it's IT or not? How it can be a content portal then for your team projects and groups and teams and structures. Over the last year or so, Confluence has introduced a few new features, and so I'll try to briefly go through those. And so this is going to be a whirlwind of an hour. Hang on. But it really is kind of designed to introduce you to the application itself and what all it could potentially do for you and your organization. Um, we'll spend a couple of minutes then also talking about governance. Because this is such an extensible tool, you'll find that a little bit of guidance on governance would be beneficial. And then we'll try to reserve a little bit of time at the end in case you have questions based upon the presentation. There is a Q&A module part of this webinar. And so if you would like to submit your questions via the Q&A part, we'll try to answer your questions then. So, but first off, let's start with, well, what is Confluence? Um, Confluence is one of the Atlassian's tools that is a wiki-style editing tool that can serve as a documentation instrument um, for your teams. It's a great place for information sharing, a content portal, and it's also great for reports for your project teams and even your PMO and leadership and stakeholders. Um, it is also, if you happen to be using Jira Service Management, if you are using in the portal, uh, Confluence is where your knowledge base articles live. And so when your customers are at your portal making a new request, um, the project can be configured that it begins to suggest knowledge base articles to potentially help answer their questions before they even complete the request. And they live in Confluence without requiring your customers to have a Confluence license to see the articles. So a great tool for that as well. And it just works seamlessly between your portal page and your JSM projects in Jira Service Management. One of the things that we're going to see, what I like is that it's flexible and customizable. A couple of just quick illustrations of before something like Confluence. The question is, where do your people get their information? Where is that form? Well, it's on the intranet page under policies and forms. Um, who do I contact regarding this particular procedure? Well, we sent you an email with the org chart 6 months ago. Why aren't you following that? Um, um, where is the request document? Well, it's in this other repository over here. Didn't you remember to go over there and look? Now, in the end, the items themselves may still be in those same kinds of locations, but what your users do in Confluence is they go to one place and then they access all of the content through there, whether it's directly attached to the Confluence space or it's linked to. So your document repository or whatever else it happens to be. And so and it really helps make your organization and communication more efficient. And that's what's the benefit of this. Um, What is the structure of Confluence? Well, if you're familiar with Jira, Jira uses something called projects, and then inside of the projects are issues, or what Cloud now calls work items. And by the way, in full disclosure, what I am displaying for you is Confluence Cloud and the premium license. And so I'm showing you all the bells and whistles that can come with a Confluence Cloud license. But if Jira works in projects and work items, Confluence works in something called Spaces, which is the container for your group. And then inside of that are going to be pages and a couple of other new features like uh, um, whiteboards and list views and database views. We'll see those. I'll show you before the end of the hour together. And so now the question is, well, um, who should have a space? And honestly, it's just up to your structure. And when we engage with clients, we talk about how your organization might use Confluence. The question might be, well, um, we first off recommend a governance space because as you're going to see, this is a highly flexible and extensible tool. And without some governance, you really could create chaos and have just as much of a problem as you did without it before. So a governance space, which I'll go a little bit in more detail later. Maybe a department, maybe your entire IT department, or your accounting group, your HR department, recruiting, library. They may want to have their place for access to meeting notes, to forms and policies, information that the rest of the organization needs from them. They could get it all from a Confluence space. Um, it was designed for to be associated with Jira projects, and so certainly a each individual project could have its own space. The team that works on the project could have their own space, or it could be a combination of that as well. The team and maybe the different projects that they work on itself. I'll have an example to show you too a little bit later. And then lastly, every person by default, when they first join a cloud Confluence instance, gets their own personal space if the Confluence administrator has that feature turned on or on. Um, and that could be the place where, depending upon your needs, it could be a place for just a holding space for draft items. But if you are potentially wanting to use Confluence as a crowdsourcing or social aspects of it, that's also the place where personal spaces have blog posts, and you can have influencers and you can have followers. And so that's another possibility for how this can be used. Okay. So hopefully you're seeing a lot of um, a lot of potential ideas with that. Um, as far as the formatting goes, this is where we can talk about basic text editing, linking to other resources, cross-reference, attachments. And we're going to take a real quick look at all of those things. And the coolest part is that how well it connects with your Jira instance too, so that your work is taking place in Jira, but so much information about the work could be on your Confluence instance. So let's take a look at a couple things. Uh, I'm in a space right now, and I'm going to go to one of the pages. First off, just to highlight um, what all is available to you. Um, Also, by the way, this is a new user interface that was introduced a month or two ago. If you are already a Confluence Cloud user and your interface looks slightly different, it will be coming to you, I promise. Especially also on the Jira side, the Jira interface is quite different. It's still manageable, by the way, but they have really changed the whole look and feel of both Jira and with Confluence. So what you're looking here is what's available to me in this space. Because it's premium, um, it's going to have the ability to have blogs, a calendar. It also has something called analytics, which can kind of give you an idea about how many people are reading the pages themselves. When was the last time somebody did? Um, there is now in cloud and especially in premium, there is now AI features, um, which can both summarize your pages, suggest writing styles and other items. And then since about a year ago, they added automation. and we'll try to take a quick look at what possibly automation rules could do for your spaces in Confluence. If you're using Jira, you're probably already using automation in your Jira projects. There's some really nice things that Confluence can do as well. And so we'll be looking at all of those things. Um, but let's talk about editing capabilities. And this is just a basic page. I'll open it in edit mode in just a moment. But you're seeing there's the ability to have your titles. Uh, um, You'll see the last updated dates, an analysis of how long it might take to read the page, and then this is your analytics that are connected to it. And that if you click on it, it'll take you to the analytics section of the space to describe that. But here's basic text, the things that we like about it. You can have headings and text and formatted text, bulleted lists, numbered lists. Um, a lot of things that you would expect from pretty much any wiki style tool. Um, um, so straight text editing, it has something called action items, which when you insert those, they allow you to collect a series of lists, or you can mention somebody and they would be notified that they have an action item to complete, setting the dates, etc. Um, and it's pretty easy to do. There's a new feature coming out where an action item could be converted to a Jira issue as well, or a work item in a Jira project. Um, and now you're seeing a little bit. I was in a one column straight layout, and now I'm seeing over on the right hand side here a table, which I'll talk about. But I also want to talk about what are called layouts. And so I'm going to open this in edit mode real quick and show you that up until this point, I was in a single column layout, but now I am in what's called a new layout. It's managed by the sections tool up here. And so you can have more than one columns, a right sidebar, a left sidebar, and that this is the right sidebar. So potentially you could have text discussing something, and then on the right-hand side, some sort of visual. In this case, a table, a really good table tool allowing you to create the table with as many columns and rows as you'd like. And along with the table, by the way, you can also import. So if you want to import from a spreadsheet or a table in your word processing application, it will paste as a table into the Confluence page as well. Built into the table to macro is a couple of utilities to analyze the data and place it into a chart mode, if you like, as well. Here's the bar chart. Here's the pie chart. So, again, just great visualization of those particular tools. Um, because the page is living in your Confluence instance that everyone who has a license has connection to, um, based upon the space permissions as far as whether or not they can edit the pages or not, you can have simultaneous editing of a page because it's in that same location and people have same access to the page. We use simultaneous editing when we are, say, within our client engagements, and we have our weekly sync meeting with the client. um, the two or three of us that are on the team will be in the same meeting notes page, so that while one is presenting, the other one is taking notes, or we might both be taking notes about different things within it. So that way we're all engaged to it. We also might be working together when we're designing a run book together. We'll just stay in the document together, and one can edit and one can be writing other things. So it's a great tool for that as well. So. Um, You'll notice also in here is this yellow highlight, and these are comments that are created in there. Um, Comments, and the nice part about comments is that they can be made while it's either in published mode, or right now while I'm in edit mode. I can also comment on the document. Great place to just simply select text and then choose to comment on it. And what it does is it opens up a comment on the right-hand side that you have the ability to interact with. You can add emoji. You can have lots of options in there. There are a few macros available too. So if you want to have formatted text in here to apply that, you can reply to it. You can resolve the issue so that it no longer remains on there. But a great way for having comments on there. There's another location for comments that I'll show you, and it's at the bottom of the page. Um, let me quickly update this and then drop down to the bottom of the page and show you where else comments can be. They are at the bottom. So you could have inline comments within the text itself, or just simply general comments at the bottom of the page. Again, you also have uh, all the editing capabilities, and so you can really make a visually uh, interesting comments as well for discussion threads. Um, you can reply to it, and so you can have inline conversations using individual comments on these things. So just a great tool for that as well. Let me go back up to the top of my page and talk about the next features I want to deal with. Linking. Um, Confluence does a really nice job of managing links. Let me open this up again. Whether the links are external or internal. So you could link to another Confluence page, even another space that's on there. And also, when you link, you have options as to how you want to display that. So, for instance, this is what's called the inline. You could just post the URL. This is what's called the card view. And so it's kind of a preview of the page itself with a link to it. And then lastly, you can embed an entire page, so that people can the content lives elsewhere, but it can be displayed here. And it's a great governance standard where you can say you manage your content in one location, and if you need to, you surface it in multiple locations. Well, that's one way to do it, just simply embed the entire page on there. So it handles internal, it handles external really well as well. So here is a link to Valiantys, my company. Um, and again, you have the URL, the inline. This is the card view. So it gives a little view of the page itself. Really nice to handle that. This is a link to a Google Doc. So you can, it was designed all along and seamlessly works with Google Drive, but you can also have connections to um, other document repositories as well. But here, again, I'm having the same options. Do I want to put just a link, the inline, which is the card view, or again, embedding the document onto the page itself? And as long as I have rights to the document wherever it lives, I can see, and if I have edit rights, I can edit this document as well. And so you see I have the ability to edit here. Um, So again, a great tool that to me, I'm just astounded by the embed link because it makes it so much more functional. It's not just showing you, but it can also get access to it. And of course, you can your basic email links. You can also do that. To help people get connected to the organization or who to contact from there. Um, when you link put a link to some sort of media file. So it could be a YouTube video. If you have a learning management system in your LMS, you have video content there. You could post that. If you're using Loom or you're using your Microsoft Stream server for video content, you can just simply put a link to it. You don't have to you don't have to attach the file, and it automatically knows to put it into an iframe player so that they can watch the video without having to leave the site. Great stuff. So just superior handling of linking, not only just pasting the link itself, but how you want it to display on the page. Um, it also handles attachments. Um, and so while a governance discussion might be uh, where if this is an ongoing document that still be edited, should you attach what is essentially a legacy copy of it onto the page? Or other times, yeah, you still need to, whether it's an image or screenshot of error messages that your teams are working on, or whatever it happens to be. There are occasionally certainly needs for having attached whether they're images or documents or spreadsheets or whatever it happens to be. And so they can be placed in here. Um, so here's an image, and as a nice option, this is placed into a word wrap, either the left or the right of the paragraph. And then you can also adjust the size. You can add alternate text. So for those that are using screen readers to be in the US to be ADA compliant, if you need to be, this is where you can add the alternate text for readers from there. Other ways to attach documents, this is a PDF, and they're actually what's called a attached PDF macro, which not only um, displays it, but also has a visual that you can, without having to download it, you can see the attachment contents and read it from there as the PDF goes. There's also something called the attachments macro. You don't have to surface all of your attachments that are in that on that page visually with thumbnails. What you can do is apply what's called the attachments macro itself, which will list all the attachments that are on that particular page with the option to even allow them to download or even to upload new ones if you want them to do that. By the way, these attachments don't have to be on this particular page. So again, if what are those documents, images, whatever, that would be valuable in multiple locations, you again store them in one location and you can put links to them, or in this case, use the macro to surface on this particular page. Now, I've been saying macro quite a bit, and if you're not familiar with Confluence completely yet, um, let me just sort of talk a little bit about the word macro. Um, uh, for some that are not highly technical, that sounds a little intimidating, that it involves coding of some sort. And really, what Confluence means by macros is the ability to either visually enhance the pages or enhance navigation to in this page or in other places or internal or external, et cetera. Um, so that's where your the macros can come up with. So we've seen a couple of them already. Actually, inserting an image is a macro. The PDF is a macro. The attachments file is a macro. But let me talk about a couple others that are really useful and helpful in uh, uh, making your content visually interesting and useful. The first one that we love at Valiantys, we love what are called the info panels. And so there are several built-in ones. So the success, information, warning, note, error. But what's really neat is you can create your own. And so you can have your own emoji or no emoji at all. You can choose a different color there's several colors in the color palette, and you can use that. What is a recent use for that is if you decide to not use the emoji and you change the color, it's also a way to have a just simply a background color to the text of your page instead of just the default of white. You can now have several different colors, and those colors could mean something different to you. So imagine you have on your page layout, on the left margin is one color for uh, uh, navigation hints or something like that. The middle might be another color for your main content, and on the right hand side you might have a third color linking to additional resources and places to link to. Just some ways to think about that. Another one is what's called the status macro, and these are just little uh, uh, buttons. Atlassian calls it a lozenge, and you simply enter the text. It becomes all caps, and then you can choose one of the colors. We use these for on statuses of client engagements for if we're on track, if we're in process, if it's completed, if it's still to do. We might choose several of those statuses. Again, it's just a visual way to display something. One of our favorite macros is called the expand macro. What the expand macro does is you can give it a title. and then you can expand to show the content of it so that it helps manage some of the vertical scrolling that your users would do on a particular page. And there's several uses for this. Um, uh, Maybe you have a listing of certain policy statements, and you can put each one in its own expand macro, and then people can uh, open and collapse as needed. Um, Imagine you have a QA team, and their process is these five different tasks, and then each of those tasks has, 4 or 5 steps that are in them. Well, you could have the process, and they can click to expand and see if they need to be reminded what the actual steps are. So we use them on our engagement page with our client, uh, where we will have a summary of the statement of work, always available. So if we ever need to be reminded what's in scope or not, they can go there. Other macros are for uh, navigation. So you're seeing the table of contents macro, which can be based upon the headings of your page itself. You also have something called a page tree, which can show you what are all the pages in this particular space, or even another space. Um, and then what really gets interesting is its connection to um, Jira itself. Um, and I want to show you this one first before I get out of the page, and that is this was an issue link, so a key from a Jira project, and in the same instance, it was simply pasted in here. And this is astounding to me because now you have the ability to not only put a link, the URL, the inline, the card, but now you can even embed a Jira issue work item onto a Confluence page. And as long as you have rights to view the project, and if you have edit rights, you can also edit this issue while in Confluence. Just great. I love this tool. Great tool for this. And then here is in a card view. So if you need to open it from there, let me well, let me keep going. And then there are other macros that are really that are available to us, that many of them are if you have a dashboard with gadgets and Jira, many of them can be displayed here as well onto your page. This is what's called an issues list, which is based upon a query of showing me whatever the list of files that meet that query. And so here it is the issue list here. Here's the exact same filter being applied to the pie chart macro. So you kind of, again, you have the ability to have both see the information and also add a visual to it to help people fully understand what's going on. Let me get out of this. The other thing, by the way, is that it is also bidirectional. So this is taking content from Jira. I can take, let me scroll up and find some text. I can take text from a Confluence page. Now I'm published now, so I can't do this in edit mode, but you saw me when I had the ability before to create a comment, but now I have the ability to create a Jira work item in a Jira project based upon selected text. So imagine you're having your meeting and you're collecting action items. um, you can actually just simply select the text there and create the action item or create the task from your Confluence page. You don't have to do this twice in other. So it's great. You can also do this multiple. If you have a table with this, you can also do multiple items at the same time. So just a great tool. Also seeing the insertion of AI, is that the define where else is AI? It can also summarize the page for you. Just some great stuff. Okay, so if that's some of the tools, and there's others, um, let's show you what that might look like and what we often do when we are working with our clients, and that is our client engagement page. So this is another space. And this is a very typical page that we would have with our clients for our sync meetings. Um, and so kind of give you an idea about what some of the layouts might be and the types of pages that we might use and how this is useful. The question I want to talk then about is, while again the work lives in Jira, and you may have a dashboard with some of the gadgets there for being able to see visualize the data in many forms. Um, Confluence, however, might be a place for where your reporting is going. Um, let's talk about why you might consider using Confluence instead of just a Jira dashboard or Jira report that's on there. First off, you've seen how flexible the tool is, how customizable it is, so how many formatting options that you have that are in there. And so in the end, what you can end up with is a very interesting um, area of information. But you can not only present the Jira data, but you can also um, uh, manage the message, if you will, provide context for items. And so again, here is this is a page. This is now in a two-column layout, and here is a table on the left. On the right-hand side is the feature that one of the features that comes with premium licenses, and that is the calendar feature, where you can create a calendar, you can import a calendar, um, link to, etc. And what we do with them with our clients is the consulting team will have a calendar on the engagement page so that we can put milestones when team members are going to be out on PTO or whatever. We'll put holidays in there. We can also put things like specific milestones that are going to be taking place. If you're sprinting, you can have your sprint dates placed in there, release dates. Lots of things can be available on this particular calendar item. Remember, it is a premium collection. Here's something from Atlassian Home, which is used to be what's Atlas. If you're considering using Home as part, so you can actually see uh, your potential goals and updates from there. Um, Premium Jira comes with what used to be called advanced roadmaps. It's now called plans, and you can link a plan directly onto a page. This is non-editable, but it is interactable. So here you can expand the in this case the epics into the child issues. You have the ability to go into the issue itself, go to Jira. You can even choose how you want to view this. So if you're having your different fields that are used in there. By the way, we have a half day class on plans that we could offer if your organization is interested in something like that. But here's just a great way to display it. And then these are just issue lists. A JQL search displaying on the page. Again, the ability to interact with these. And then here's that info panel. Now we're just in a table. Again, listing the JIRA issues on the left and the visual of it as in the pie chart on the right. And so we'll let our clients know, okay, what was completed recently, what's still in progress, what's still to do, or whatever types of um, um, categories they want to see the information be in. Maybe we have a monthly status meeting with the stakeholders and C-suite, and so after that particular meeting, we would take a print out of this page as a PDF and then use the attachments macro to display past meetings because all this information is now. It's updated every time we come to the page. Then again, here is the statement of work that we'd put to remind them of where they all are. So um, all of that then becomes it's visual, it's uh, uh, it's manageable, it's flexible. Um, and so in the end, we might suggest that uh, while the work is actually taking place by the team in Jira, um, this is a great place to have everybody else come to learn about the work and to see and to be updated on the work and to see what all is available. Um, so for people that are not in the project on a regular basis, this is the place to go as far as what they can see. Again, here's where you're seeing again AI at the bottom based upon the content and as AI begins to learn about your instance, it has suggestions for other content that's linking there. Um, again, that's the option from there. So that's the engagement page that we have. What else might we have on the setup of the space that we have with our clients? Well, we're going to have meet the team kind of ideas. Who are the team members of this? Um, and it's just simply, a table that you can put in there. There's also you can link to uh, the user images that are on there, et cetera, whatever you need to put on there. So this is where we put the name and the contact info. Um, Depending upon the project, we will have a risk register to say, okay, here are items that we've discovered that really ought to be addressed so that we can have a smooth transition. Let's say we're migrating to a new instance or from data center to cloud, whatever it happens to be. Uh, we can make sure that we have an assessment with the risk meter so that in one place they can know where to go to find out what's going on. We will have our meeting notes. And this is actually using a template, meeting note template, and we'll talk about templates in a little bit as well so that in one area of the space they can have all the meeting notes. And there's also a meeting notes index that the template collects. So it acts, there. If you have any if you have any action items on those meeting notes pages, it collects them there. Here's a listing of the other notes, and then other items there. And then we might have um, in the once the design is being made of whatever the solution is, what's the Jira configuration, what apps do we need to have, what other integrations do we need to be concerned about? If they're running with agile teams, we might talk about the different teams that are running in there, the cadence of the ceremonies, et cetera, and the agile team toolkit. And then we can also just simply create new pages as we move on from there. And so that's a very common layout. And so you're seeing how an IT uh, team might be wanting to use this particular item. But it's not the only way. It doesn't have to be just IT. Let me show you another example that could be used, and I also have a couple of examples of additional content that are on here. Um, Actually, I could show you by going back one. So I had mentioned before the idea of embedding images and embedding media files. There is a new type of content or way to display content now called a smart link. And what it can do is the entire page can be a link to an external resource. In this case, it's a YouTube video. There are literally hundreds of things that you can have connections to. So a mirror board, any type of external resource that people can view, you can create as an entire page on there to be able to view that. Okay. I just wanted you to see that. I have a couple of other examples in just a moment, but I also want to then go to mm, a non-IT use for it. It's going to be similar. Um, so this is a marketing group. And on the marketing group, they have first off on their cover sheet, they have the page tree showing them all the pages that are on there, recently updated information. And then they might have this actually is a template called Meet the Team. And it gives you, it's using layouts and some tables that you can just simply add the content to. These are just links with emoji to help visualize things. Here's the Meet the Team macro, which then lists the people, but also has their their images, their icons, avatars from their Atlassian account. And so you can see that as well. They're using also the calendar. They might also have several links that are on from there. And you see for the calendar, they're important events, notifications about people who are going to be out of the office for their selected days. They'll also then potentially have their own project dashboard. This is collecting information from each of the teams that are under this. So under the marketing team, there are 5 teams that work on their own individual projects, and this page is a consensus of all of that information. And so they're telling me so on these individual, they say they're on track. Here's a listing of what they're working on, and then each page then has their own. Each team then has their own as far as their setup goes, and so you can see how you can be at the team level and then roll up to the department level if you wanted to have it that way. They're also using the meeting notes macro, and so they're collecting meetings. Um, and then they can connect to external resources. This is now could be a smart link, but here's connecting to a Miro board. Here it's connecting to a Trello board. If you haven't explored Trello lately, it's a very nice, simple uh, task management board for pulling tasks, pull method, where you can set up your to-do. We use this for things like preparing for trade shows, etc. Several of my colleagues have their own personal account because that's how they manage their day-to-day life. They wouldn't live without having their Trello board to do so. And here, because Trello is part of Atlassian as well, it's easy to embed into a page itself. This could also, again, be a smart link. Um, Here, again, using the embedded documents, so we can have people come, whether it's read only or, again, the ability to edit there. This is another new content type called database. And it kind of looks like that issue list that you saw. Here, I just simply connected to a project in Jira, but you could create your own with different links as far as what other types of fields you want to see that's in there. And there's several different field types that you can include. Um, so you could almost use it as a mini asset management table, etc. But here I am seeing the issues, the types. I have the ability, if I have access to it, I can potentially edit some of these things or add comments to. But this is, and I suspect we're going to see more and more capability come with this. You can add new entries to it, etc. Um, and some math. Um, not this is not Excel. It's not um, a fully loaded spreadsheet capability, but some basic things you can do with that. And then also with Confluence Cloud, started this about last year, whiteboards. So you may be using a Miro board, but now there are whiteboards in Confluence itself, in both standard and premium. You have a little bit more leverage with the premium license as far as the number of whiteboards per space you can have, number of users in the space, editing, etc. But they are available in standard as well. And there are several whiteboard templates to choose from as far as what you want to use, or start from scratch. So whatever you like to use as far as your visualization, your decision tree, 5 whys. We do this a lot when we are having our initial discussions with clients about how they want their Jira instance organized. Who's going to get access to them? What types of issue types do we need? We might do that visually on a whiteboard with the client itself, and then start designing the run book from there. And then again, utilizing um, the calendar itself. So what all can we create as far as content goes? Well, there's the ability to create a new page, a whiteboard, a database, a smart link, and another new feature, um, a folder, which is just a container to help organize the pages. Uh, it's an alternative to using the page tree like we're using here. Um, but it's just another option for how you might want to organize your content from there. Um, Let me pause for just a moment before talking about um, a couple of other features that I want to hit, plus talking about governance. And this is the shameless self-promotion part about Valiantys itself. Um, um, we're glad that you're here, and I want to give the opportunity to if you're new to us. Sometimes people find us through our YouTube channel itself. And so first off, just who we are as a company. As I mentioned at the top, Valiantys is a platinum solution partner for Atlassian itself. Uh, Atlassian sells products and um, and then they rely on their solution partners to help clients implement, uh, uh, manage, configure, migrate, iterate, all those things, and that's exactly what we can help with as far as there. Um, And so we are a global company. I am in part of Valiantis North America, which is the largest North American uh, solution partner as well. But we have consultants on 6 continents, and so basically the sun never sets on Valiantis. And so if we so we could most likely have consultants um, where you are or near where you are in the same time zone to get the work done. So what can we do? Well, we can help license your Atlassian products. We can again do the configurations, do the migrating. We can do facilitating. We can offer as a service. We can offer assistance from there. Some actually use us for support, ongoing support, guidance. Um, we really want to be all things ITSM or enterprise service management for your company. That's the goal is not to just sell you products or use just Atlassian products, but really be your consulting source for all things IT in your organization to help you and your organization get done the work that you need to do using the IT products you have available. So that's really, if we can be a part of that, if we can have that discussion, we'd love to do so. We are an award-winning partnership, and you're even seeing down here at the last um, at our last annual meeting at Atlassian in April, we won 4 more awards, and so um, uh, yeah, no, I'm just bragging right now. But anyway, if we can be of assistance to you, we can. The other thing we do is train. Um, and we like to put out a lot of content as much as we can. Every Thursday at 11 a.m. Central, this time slot, we offer a variety of webinars. Um, um, Several different topics that we present on, and then after they are presented, they are placed onto our YouTube channel. But here is a link to our events where you can see upcoming events. We have a variety of events. A lot of content is free, but we also have some premium classes. Um, I just finished a 3-day Jira boot camp class. We also can have available a 1-day Confluence class, Confluence boot camp, where I'm talking really fast and showing you all the things. But in 1 day, we can actually take a deep dive into an instance and you get to handle it yourself. We have that available as you do. We also have a boot camp for Jira Service Management, a 2-day relatively deep dive into that if you're new to that or want to know more about how to manage your Jira Service Management projects. We have a 1-day data analytics class. I mentioned the class um, um, on advanced roadmaps plans. We have a governance workshop that we can do with you. So there's lots of stuff that are in here. And then again, you're seeing a lot of both premium and free content. Please feel free to take a look at this, and we'd love to have you back at other events if we can. Um, so we do the training, we do the consulting, we do the licensing. Uh, we also will have clients that need their Atlassian projects to integrate with other apps. And we have a squadron of full stack developers who can make the coding possible uh, for your uh, um, for your for your information to integrate with Atlassian products seamlessly. And so happy to do those things. Um, and then secondly, here is our YouTube channel. That is where all the content goes. So, um, um, and you'll see we have people that just love to learn and love to share, and that's what they. And so we'll have a lot of that information available to you from there. Okay, that was a lot of talk about that. Let me let me show you a couple of other items, and then touch on governance. As I am in my space, let me go back to the original space where I started. Looking at the space settings, this is where if someone has the space ownership or is the space creator, they have the ability to look in the back end. And here, this is a new feature called Mission Control, where it can give you a kind of just a quick summary of what's going on with your particular page. Um, Here is the analytics part, where you can analyze the space in general or the individual pages. And so this is a great tool that potentially could help you um, uh, with discovering how relevant your pages are to your organization, whether they are going to be if you put it in a place that people can find it well and are accessing information. Great thing from there. Automation is a great new feature that you may not have thought about for Confluence itself, but the main function here is what are some things that are repetitive tasks that you could at least get set up automatically, um, so that so for instance, when something is generated, uh, uh, these are just suggestions. So an AI generated summary of the item could so of your meeting notes could be sent to people. Um, um, what labels can be added by AI, et cetera. Here's a great one. And that is you once your governance team has a decision about when to potentially archive content. In other words, it hasn't been touched in 6 months. That might be an opportunity to begin to say, okay, we're going to manage our content a little bit better. And you can have that set up as a an automation rule in your space to manage that stuff, so that either make people notified that, hey, hasn't been touched. What do you want to do with it? Or you can even archive it itself. Um, Working with Jira, working with other Atlassian products, uh, collaborating on different tools. And so just there's just a lot of stuff that's going on. A new one now is Rovo, which is going to be is the AI application that's not going to be part standard with Jira and Confluence. You don't have to purchase it separately. It's just going to come with your instance itself. And there's some interesting functionality that we're looking at with that we're really just now exploring. And so I think you're going to see a lot of uh, uh, more content from there. And then a link to the Confluence Automation Library itself, which take you to a separate page on Atlassian site for all kinds of other ideas for how automation might help you. So I wanted you to see that. as we before moving on to um, a 2 minutes on governance. Um, so you've seen so much extensibility, so much flexibility, and so which again, without some governance, is simply just going to be chaos. What one of my colleagues simply calls it, without governance, you're just simply going to amplify dysfunction further. And so we need to deal with this. We offer a governance webinar, which gives us some ideas. We'd be happy if needed, to consult with you. We offer governance to all of our clients as part of the engagement itself, is just to make sure that there's a good understanding of, now that you have this tool and you have this content, how to manage it so that it is valuable to you and meaningful to you. And so um, we want to avoid confusion. And we also want to avoid duplicate information or duplicate content, especially in Confluence itself. And so, uh, how your spaces are going to be structured is important. Uh, who gets to edit, how it's edited, what's the maintenance cadence of your particular pages on your spaces. Um, Discussion about how long inactive material should be either archived or deleted from the space itself. uh, there's two areas that need focus: is standardization, and that includes things like naming conventions so that pages and content is easier to find on a consistent basis, with then guidance as to how that naming conventions should be used by your users itself. And then permissioning, who gets to do what in your instance. Are some pages just read only for most of it, and then a select management team is going to have the editing capabilities, et cetera. And you can manage all of that at both the space level or even at the page level. Who can see what, or who can edit those particular pages? So it's uh, so we love to have that particular conversation with our clients. Um, Knowing, by the way, that the actual governance outcome is not based upon uh, these rigid rules. It's based upon the discussion itself, and how one organization is governed. It might be different than another, and that's perfectly fine. We just have a structure to help you reach those particular decisions. Covered a lot in a very short amount of time. And hopefully you'll see that Confluence really is a really powerful tool, specifically designed to integrate with your Jira instance. But even as a standalone, it's a powerful tool for um, documenting, reporting, and a centralized knowledge sharing portal, a knowledge base, again, for your Jira service management projects. I want to take the last couple of minutes and see if there were any questions on this. And I see. Um, One question was, is there a chat feature for team members that works like Slack inside of Confluence? Um, there can be Slack integration with it, just like Jira can also do. And so you don't have a chat feature quite like that, but you can integrate with a Slack team, Slack channel. And then the second question, is this going to be recorded? Yes, it is recorded, and it will be posted on our YouTube channel, um, probably within the next day or two after it's been reviewed. And then it's available. So, and by the way, if you are needing if you're needing stakeholders to review, so maybe you're considering going to premium instead of standard, or just considering Confluence at all, um, this is a safe, no obligation place to go and check it out. And I would recommend this one over the previous one because this is using the new UI. Um, and I was able to cover all the features in 1 hour. I don't normally get that. So, but yes, it is available. Um, so, I appreciate your time, and hopefully this is not the first or the last webinar that you come to for Atlassian. And if this prompts potentially a conversation about potential engagement, we'd love to have that conversation as well. So again, my name is Tony Hartsfield. a consultant with Valiantys, and you just completed the Intro to Confluence webinar. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of your day.